You're at a meeting that's running long. Your leg starts bouncing under the table. You click a pen, you shift in your chair for the 4th time in 10 minutes. Nobody taught you to do this. You didn't decide to do it, but the real answer is far stranger than nervous energy. That twitch in your leg is 2 million years old. And it's not a glitch in your body, it's a leftover instruction from a world that no longer exists. Think about what stillness actually requires. Your muscles have to stay contracted against gravity. Your nervous system has to suppress the urge to move. Your brain has to override a signal that's been firing since before your species had language. Sitting still, it turns out, is not neutral, it's work. Why would evolution build a body that fights against doing nothing? In 2015, a team of researchers led by James Levine at the Mayo Clinic coined a term that stuck around, NEAT, or non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's the energy your body burns through: fidgeting, shifting, pacing, tapping. Levine found that this small, constant movement wasn't random noise. It correlated with metabolic health in a way that structured exercise alone didn't fully explain. Your body, it seemed, wanted to move in tiny amounts almost constantly, not for show, for function. To understand why, you have to go back further than offices and chairs, much further. For most of human history, sitting still for long stretches simply wasn't something bodies did. Early humans on the African savanna were almost always in some state of motion, walking to find food, scanning for predators, carrying children, building shelter. Anthropologists estimate that early hunter-gatherers walked and moved for several hours nearly every day, not as exercise, but as survival. Movement wasn't optional. It was the default state of being alive. So what happened when a hunter-gatherer did sit still? It almost always meant something. Resting after a hunt, watching for danger, conserving energy before the next demand on the body. Stillness was purposeful, brief, and almost always followed by motion. Your body evolved inside that rhythm. Move, pause, move again. Not move, then sit motionless for 8 hours while staring at a screen. Here's where it gets interesting. Your nervous system didn't just track when you moved, it used movement itself to gather information about the world. In 2013, a researcher named Karen Adolph, who studies motor development, found something counterintuitive in how infants learn to move. Babies don't learn to walk by thinking about walking. They learn by constantly generating small movements and letting their nervous system read the feedback. Fidgeting, in this light, isn't wasted motion. It's a low-level, constant sampling of your body's position in space, its balance, its tension. Even as adults, that system never fully turns off. Your leg bouncing under the table isn't nothing. It's your nervous system quietly checking in. So why does it show up more when you're bored or anxious or trying to concentrate? Because those states share something in common. They're all moments when your brain has extra processing capacity that isn't being used by the task in front of you. In 2007, a study led by researcher Cheyenne Baylock on movement and cognitive load found that certain kinds of physical fidgeting could actually support concentration rather than undermine it, particularly for tasks requiring sustained attention. The small movement gave the nervous system somewhere to route excess activation. Without it, that extra energy has nowhere to go. It builds, and eventually it either leaks out as fidgeting anyway, or it turns inward as restlessness and irritability. This reframes something most people get taught backwards. You are probably told, at some point, to sit still and pay attention, as if stillness and focus were the same thing. But for a huge number of people, they're not. Movement isn't the enemy of attention. For a nervous system built across 2 million years of nearly constant motion, small movement might actually be a requirement for sustained attention, not a distraction from it. Think about children specifically for a moment. Watch a child try to sit still through a long car ride or a long lesson. The wriggling isn't defiance. It's often a body doing exactly what it evolved to do, colliding with an environment that demands something evolution never asked of it. Sit motionless. Stay silent. Do this for hours. No hunter-gatherer child was ever asked to do that. And it's not just children. Adults suppress this instinct so often in so many environments that many people stop even noticing they're doing it. Open-floor offices, long flights, movie theaters, waiting rooms. Modern life is, in a very literal sense, an experiment in asking a body built for nearly constant motion to remain almost completely still for hours every single day. So what's actually happening in your body during that meeting when your leg starts bouncing? Your muscles are receiving small doses of postural correction, tiny shifts in blood flow, tiny releases of built-up muscular tension. Levine's research suggested that people who fidget more throughout the day, even without formal exercise, tend to burn meaningfully more calories than those who don't, simply through this constant low-level movement. Your body isn't malfunctioning. It's doing what it has always done. It's just doing it in a context that treats the behavior as rude, distracting, or immature, rather than what it actually is. Ancient, automatic, and, in many cases, useful. There's a deeper layer here too. Fidgeting doesn't just regulate the body. For a lot of people, it regulates emotion. When anxiety rises, movement often rises with it, not because the person is choosing to be anxious, but because motion has always been the nervous system's primary tool for discharging activation. Long before humans had language to talk through a feeling, they had movement to move through it. Pacing when worried, rocking when distressed, tapping when overstimulated. These aren't modern quirks. They're some of the oldest coping mechanisms your species has. Older than words, older than shelter, almost as old as the nervous system itself. Which raises an uncomfortable question about how much of modern life quietly asks people to override this. Classrooms that punish wiggling, offices that read fidgeting as inattentiveness, social situations where stillness is treated as a sign of respect and movement as a sign of disinterest. In many of these settings, the body is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, and the environment is telling it that's wrong. None of this means motion should replace focus, or that every fidget has a deep evolutionary purpose behind it. Sometimes a leg bounces simply because a chair is uncomfortable, but the broader pattern is worth sitting with, so to speak. Your body's resistance to stillness isn't a flaw to fix. It's a signature left behind by millions of years spent almost never sitting still at all. So the next time your leg starts bouncing in a long meeting, or your fingers start tapping during a slow moment, notice it before you suppress it. That twitch isn't your body failing to behave. It's 2 million years of movement quietly reminding you that stillness was always meant to be temporary. You were built to move. The chair just hasn't caught up yet.